bear with, we're all over the place at the minute. Gimbal's having a fit. What are you doing? Okay. Oh, finally. Dear oh dear. Technology. Same thing every time, isn't it? IT guy once said to me when I rang the IT department and said, oh, problem, computer say no, computer no worky. The IT guy said to me, yeah, that's picnic. Picnic? What, the chocolate bar? And he said, no, problem in chair, not in computer. So true. So true with me. Me and technology is my regular subscribers will know. Don't get on too well. Computer often says no. In fact, I think that statement or catch line was invented for me only. Computer say no. Anyhow, here we are in southern Russia. Oh, right, what's going on? Let's start here. Sorry about the half nakedness, but you know, sun's shining and it's hot. So I'm a Brit, that's what happens. A bit of a tan actually. Dear. Need to lose some weight. Put on some holiday weight, that's what I keep telling the wife. The holiday was Christmas. Yeah. Did get down quite a bit actually, lost a fair bit. But I've put, well, I found some. I lost a load and then I found some again. So I need to try and lose some, but anyhow, you don't want to hear about that. Yeah, went out today. Oh, that's not a good shot. Angles, Chris, angles. Went out today, down the town, met up with a lovely couple. English guy and Russian wife, similar situation. Yeah, really nice, so hopefully we'll meet up with them again this week. Ended up on Crimea on Friday. Just ended up there. Wasn't planning to. Actually managed to get the Crimea town of Kerch mixed up with the Russian mainland town. It's not correct terminology, but the Russian side. No, that's still the wrong terminology. Managed to get it mixed up with a town called Taman, which is this side of the Kerch Bridge. Kerch being the other side of the Kerch Bridge. But Brains here got it into his head that Kerch was this side of the Kerch Bridge. So I thought, I've always wanted to go to see the Kerch Bridge. You know, it's a hell of a feat of engineering. And thought I'll go and have a look. Don't want to go to Crimea. Not really sure what to expect or whether I'm allowed to. But got a bit brave this week because obviously now I've got TRP, so I thought, it doesn't look quite so bad. I'm not a tourist, technically. I thought, okay. Anyhow, toddled off onto the motorway, driving along, seeing some signs. Saw the sign for Kerch, carried on going. I thought, that's right, that's where I want to go. Yeah. Then got guided in what can only be described as a border checkpoint. That's pretty much what it is, what it felt like. A secure area at both ends of the bridge where any vehicles wishing to cross the bridge will pass through. I'm not going to talk about the security checks and the security that's involved, but to say it's extensive is an understatement. But it was too late at that point. We were committed because there was no turning off of the motorway, so we were going to Crimea. Hadn't set out to go there at all. So over the bridge we went. Amazing, amazing, absolutely. I love a bit of engineering. I love that kind of thing. So to see that and drive over it, yeah, it's awesome, properly awesome. Yeah, like I say, I'm not going to really comment on that too much. But yeah, ended up in Crimea, and a few people said, "Oh, what's it like?" You know, I don't know, because as we got off the bridge, there was a queue. It was a Friday afternoon. people leaving Crimea to go, you know, for a long weekend break. And much as we had a queue going there was a queue coming back. So I literally came off at the first exit, turned around, joined the queue to come back. So I didn't see Crimea at all. But been over the bridge. I've seen the bridge. I understand what's involved in going over there and the crossing, and I absolutely will be going there. I very much doubt I'll be doing any filming in Crimea, and that's my choice. So before anybody jumps in and says, "Oh, Russian government, you're not allowed to," no, not the case. But I don't want to film anything, as I've said many times, that gives information to the neighbours. Let's call it that. So I won't be filming, so it's highly unlikely you're going to see any footage from me from Crimea. Sorry, but you know, YouTube is for fun and for information and to talk to you guys. It's not vital in my life in that regard, and I'm, you know, I want to be able to sleep comfortably and have a good conscience, and I can do that because I'm not too worried about the revenue or that kind of, well, that's an understatement. I'm not worried about the revenue at all from YouTube, couldn't care less. So I'm in that fortunate position. I was having this discussion with another YouTuber today. Yeah, I'm in a very fortunate position that I do not need to look at YouTube as my work, my daily life, which I think allows me to do lives whenever I want, and create the content that, you know, I want to film, and, you know, hopefully you guys find it interesting. Some is, some isn't, but, you know, it just means that it's very, very raw, very honest, I guess, very basic. Some people don't like it, you know, some people want a nice glossy show. You're not going to get that from me. You're just going to get camera on, camera off, there's the information, make your own mind up, not going to ram it down your throats. But I was talking to a group of people yesterday as well, and we were talking about various opportunities and projects that you can get involved in across Russia. And one thing that I've tried to highlight is the environmental disaster that happened here in Anapa about 4 months ago. So hopefully that will be coming to the fore. So yeah, maybe there'll be a video or two about that in the coming weeks and months. So yeah, take a look at it. The interview I did with Maxim, local, shall I call him a blogger or a vlogger? Media personality? Social media star? I don't know. Done a few interviews, but one with Maxim, he came to the house. Lovely guy. Speaks better English than I do. And did a cracking interview with him. Just sat down and just, it felt like talking, you know, talking to a friend, and just, yeah, good chat. And he put that interview up on his channel, and I think so far it's had about 53,000 views, which, you know, for a big YouTube star, it's nothing. It's a day's views. For me, some lovely comments, some idiots, of course, you know, you're always going to get that. People that are not capable of critical thought, and they just are like Dolly the sheep, and just do as the media tells them to. But it was a great experience, and like I say, the interview is going on great guns, so have a look for that. I think I've linked it in my YouTube community tab. I think it's on the Telegram channel again, I think. But if not, drop me a message, ping me an email, or join me Telegram and send me a message on Telegram if you want to see it, and I'll send you the link. Right, let's say hello to a few people before I get too buried, because that's usually what happens. Makarov, hello, hi. RGC, ma'am, your boobs. Yeah, cheers. Jealous? Cookie Dough Cat, hi, do you remember me? No. Getting distracted by flying things. Barefoot, get a Guinness down your neck, lad. Wouldn't mind a Guinness, actually. Nice cold Guinness today, on a day like today. That would be, yeah, that'd be right, that would. Thanks for that. Wasn't thinking about Guinness until you said it. What's the time over here at the moment? It is 3:57 p.m, so 4 o'clock in the afternoon, if you want to round it up. What's it, 2 o'clock in the UK? Don't know what day of the week it is. Hang on, no I do, bear with. Monday, it's Monday. Yeah, it's Monday. I only know that because the wife told me about an hour ago. Kennedy, hi. 0 to hero. You, sir, are a glutton for punishment. Dobre Ultra, Chris. It's definitely not Dobre Ultra. Dobre Din. Can go with that. But yeah, about 4 hours too late for Dobre Ultra. But hi. Sarah, hi. Andrew Baggett. Hey, Chris. Hello, mate. How you doing? Hope you're keeping well. Not working too hard. Ugh, it's that horrible word again. Alexander Ross. Hi. Hi, Chris. Kerch would be a fascinating place to visit. I've read that there's a really ancient church there from the 8th century when Crimea was part of the Byzantine Empire. Yeah, I've got to do some research into Crimea because I've seen quite a few videos from there and it's just beautiful. Really, really lovely. So I want to understand a bit more about the place and sort of get a bucket list of things that I want to see or do there, rather than just sort of do my usual thing, turn up and go, right, we're here, now what should we do? So I'm going to actually plan something, which is most unlike me. Sailor, hi, how are you doing today? Sir, I am doing same as most days, really. Brilliant. Wonderful. Dreamsy Smokes Reviews. Hope you're having a good day. Dreamsy, I certainly am. Yeah, I mean, what's not to like? Blue skies, sat by the pool, although I haven't got the cover off it. Should really take the cover off it. Might see what temperature it's at in a minute. I think it's about 18 degrees in the pool at the moment. So it's warming up quite nicely. We haven't got any heating on the pool. It's just the big yellow thing in the sky that heats it. So with its covers on, obviously that keeps the sun off of it for a bit, but it still gets hot. I think it's heat seepage through the ground, so the garden heats up and then that gets sucked into the pool as well and heats the pool up. So pool will get to 32, 33 degrees in the summer. So yeah, like getting into a nice warm bath. It's lovely. Looking forward to that. Montana, hi. Hi, what talking about in this place? Huh? Hi, what talking about in this place? Hi. Anything you want. Whatever you want. This is southern Russia. We're about 60 miles from Crimea. Haven't really got anything specific that I'm going to talk about. Just thought I'd turn the camera on and talk to you guys. So if you've got any questions, anything you want to know, Paul just turned off, that's cool. Anything you're interested in, anything you've heard about Russia and just want to confirm or deny, or to move, a lot of people are doing that. Yeah, anything in general, anything about the UK. Always happy to talk about the UK as well. And before anybody says it, no, I don't hate my country. No, I'm not a traitor. UK isn't at war with Russia. Ukraine is, and I'm not Ukrainian. So I'm not a traitor. And as I say, I don't hate my country. I haven't run away from England. I love England. I just also fell in love with Russia. So, yeah. Montana, Krasnodar. Well, Krasnodarsky Krai is the region that I live in. Krasnodar would be the capital city of this region. We were there last week. Population just over 1 million, I think, in Krasnodar. Big place, big place. Beautiful park. Did a live stream from there, walking around the park. So if you're interested in Krasnodar, and certainly the Glitsky Park, have a look. There's a few videos on my channel from the park there in Krasnodar. It's beautiful, absolutely amazing. But the live stream was going all right and then cut out because there's a dead spot right in the middle of Glitsky Park where the water feature is. And I always forget, and I walk down it, doing a live stream, and it goes, cuts out. So, oh well. So sorry about the abrupt ending if you watched that, but have a look at the park, it's amazing. Marcos. Hi Chris, I'm in a shithole London now. Yeah, it's a comment that I hear more and more. Yeah, I think when Brits are upset, they're not backward in coming forward, and you know, will voice their opinions very strongly, but generally we tend to just put up with a lot of stuff, which is the problem, and that's, I think, what's been taken advantage of. So but yeah, it's, I don't know, you know, obviously we see the news here in Russia from around the world, and Britain and US, etc. Unlike you guys in Britain, you don't get to see anything about Russia, just what you're told is happening. Yeah, so you really need to do some research. If you don't understand Russia, you don't know anything about Russia, just go and do some independent research and make your own mind up. Don't be force-fed a story. Don't listen to what you're told. Go and find out. Ask some questions. Cat's got a lizard. Living with a bunch of murderers. The toll in the last 3 days is 2 lizards, 2 mice. Oh, and a frog. The frog survived. That lizard ain't. I think it's an hors d'oeuvre. Oh dear. What can you do? They're cats. They eat stuff. Bit of protein. It's not like we don't feed them. No, it's a bit grey here in the UK this afternoon. Yeah, not here. Moon's up there, look. Don't know if you can see. Where's the moon? There it is, look. Just about there. Yeah, lovely. Lovely day here today. 21, 22 degrees. Little breeze, gentle breeze, which is synonymous with this area. So even in summer, when it does get, you know, quite hot, there's a nice breeze. Kind of reminds me of Tenerife. Tenerife was like that, hot, but there was always a bit of a breeze. And Fuerteventura, which was a lot of a breeze. But that's nice. You can tolerate the high 30s degrees when you've got a breeze. It feels really pleasant, to be honest. That and the swimming pool, that kind of helps a lot. So yeah, no, it's really pleasant here today. Very nice. Montana, yes I know, because I'm Russian. Ah, interesting name with Montana. That threw me off. Montana, I'm hitting a new skills for my English speaking. Well, you certainly are. You looks like you speak better English than I speak Russian, that's for sure. But that's my own fault because I'm an idiot. But yeah, every day I read something Russian, road signs or shop signs or something, and you know, it's a very challenging language, very descriptive, and I think that's half the problem with people in the West, especially government officials, why they do not understand Russia, is because they just don't understand the language and it doesn't translate necessarily. Russia is the Russian language is very descriptive, so that's why it's very important that you listen to the words that are said, because they don't waste words. So if they use a word, there's a reason for it. Artem Iguana said hi. Hi Artem. Irving. Good morning, Chris. Okay, see what you went for there. Good morning, mate. Good afternoon for me. Glad you're back. The wife was asking about humidity level when it stopped in the park. Yeah, I think Krasnodar is a bit more humid, but he didn't feel it. You couldn't tell. It felt like today, to be honest. Just nice and warm, but 21, 22, 23 degrees, something like that. But no, I think in the middle of summer, you know, on a very still day, it can get a bit stuffy, but it's a city, so you kind of expect that. But yeah, humid wise, I wouldn't necessarily say it's humid. You need to go south for that, down to Sochi. Team Tempest, hi, hello from Stock. Oh, never heard of that. Never heard of Stock. That's the place, is it? Is it a little village or small town? Never heard of that. Oh, fish, Middy. Russia sucks. Boo-hoo. Yeah, sucks to be you. Alice. Hi, Alice. Siam, you can speak Russian? Question mark. No. Statement. It's tiny. Choot choot, my linky. Little bits. My Russian is lacking. That's, as I said, because I'm thick, the capital F. J Bishop. Hi again, Chris. Hi. Just what's your local perspective on this apparent minerals deal with Ukraine and USA? Do you think it will end the war anytime soon? I think my perspective on that is, well, finally the true colours are being revealed. Said all along it was about resources, nothing to do with democracy, because we all know that's a load of horseshit. And to be honest, the way democracy is being represented at the moment, I don't want it. If democracy is annulling elections and banning people from running for president, Romania, if democracy is putting in prison your opponent, your opposing political party, France, Ukraine, yeah, if democracy is banning altogether the opposition, which is the most popular party in the country, Germany, you can keep your democracy. Thanks very much. I thought democracy was about freedom of speech and, you know, rights and all that, but apparently not. No. Democracy, I think, stands for you can say whatever you like. It's probably a bit like the alleged Henry Ford quote. You can have any colour as long as it's black. I think democracy is you can say whatever you like as long as it's what we want you to say. So I'm not for democracy. So, no. Yeah, minerals deal. Yeah, you know, to be honest, what use is it? You know, this is what the West doesn't understand. The West thinks that they dictate the terms of what's happening next door, and they don't. They just think they do. So that's what they're doing. And Trump hasn't woken up to that yet, unfortunately. He's surrounded himself with the wrong people, being told the wrong stuff. So he's pursuing a path that ain't going to end anywhere good. Russia will continue on the path that it's on. And they haven't made any allowances for that. So, you know, it is what it is. But the minerals deal, it's a whole bunch of nothing, isn't it? Yeah, so I don't think a great deal of it, to be honest. It's just something to print in the papers in the West and, you know, for Trump to score brownie points. But the reality is, if Russia allows it, it'll be okay. But if Russia doesn't, it won't. So that's kind of how it goes. Montana, oh God, Russia in Angliski is very different. Yeah, Russian and English is very different languages. But do you know about etymology? No, I don't. Sucks to be Russian. Oh no, love the spelling. Bye bird. Yeah. Sing only gatter. No idea what that means. Etymology is a discipline about words build. Ah, okay. Yeah, it's probably way too advanced for me. Yeah, stock your BS. Yeah, righto. Steedo. Team Tempest. Hello, I'm stock near Billericay. Ah, okay. Where are you based? This is just outside a town called Anapa in southern Russia. On the coast of the Black Sea, about 60 miles from Crimea. 50, 60 miles. I should have looked at the speedo or the mileometer when I drove there the other day, but I didn't bother. It took about an hour and just over an hour and 10 minutes, hour and 20 minutes, something like that. Alexander, my cat can't keep away from lizards either. Yeah. They don't do her any good, but she can't break the habit. I doubt Russian lizards go down any better than Australian ones at my end. Lizard's a lizard, I guess. Oh yeah, there's the latest murderer, just run past. Yeah, you, Luna. At least they don't leave corpses, I suppose. That's, you know, they're not bringing mice into the house and letting them run around, or dead mice and just dumping them. At least, I never had a problem really with game shooting. I digress a little bit, but if people go game shooting, you know, like on a pheasant shoot, I never had a problem with it if they ate what they shot. But it's when they just go and shoot 400 or 500 birds and just leave them in a big pile for the sake of it. Yeah, I did a couple of pheasant shoots many years ago, and I'd be honest, I just found it completely and utterly pointless. It was just, in my view, mindless slaughter. I was a clay pigeon shooter, and if you can hit a disc this big, travelling at 40 mile an hour sideways on at 100 yards, then a big old turkey flapping its wings through the air ain't a difficult shot. So for me, I missed the first bird that came to me because I was miles in front of it. And after that, I didn't miss all day, and it just, you know, I did it because that's what it was. It was a pheasant shoot, but I never went again. Just thought it was pointless, absolutely pointless. But, you know, the gentry love it, don't they? It makes them feel good. Quite often we'd have the pheasant shooters come to a clay shoot and they couldn't hit a barn door. So, yeah, it wasn't sport, it's just slaughter, and I couldn't see the point of it. But I digressed, didn't I? J. Bishop, democracy in terms of how the West now portrays it. It's all an illusion to placate and populate so they can argue amongst themselves whilst those in control still do what the hell they want. Democracy is a good word to hide behind. A bit like freedom of speech. Find in chat rooms, the worst people are the ones that scream freedom of speech. They're the worst. They're the most abusive, they're the most hate-filled, and they seem to have an opinion that they can just come into a chat room and under the guise of freedom of speech, they can just be generally horrible people. You know, very abusive, hateful, just trying to stir up some kind of argument or cause division. And when you deal with them, then they scream freedom of speech, I was exercising my rights. You have to remember, guys, if you're on the internet and you go into a internet chat forum, Telegram room or whatever, you don't have any rights. That's not freedom of speech. That's somebody's chat room that they've set up, and there are rules, and some people just let it be a bum fight, and some people just say, do you know what, say what you want, talk about anything, but just be respectful when you do it. And that's my Telegram group. Be respectful, no problem at all. But if you're going to come in and start swearing at people or causing arguments, you're not going to hide behind freedom of speech. You're going to get deleted, and that happens. So yeah, democracy, freedom of speech, the people that scream it the loudest are the ones that preach it and promote it the least. Stempist. Team Stempist? Where did that come from? Team Tempest. Christ, I'm getting lazier with my speech. Not near your dump. Harsh, but probably fair. Montana. And when you drive more and more deeper to it, you find how many words, technically roots of words, is very, very same. Yeah, there are a lot of similarities with the Russian language and the English language, with some words definitely that say the same. But there are equally some very challenging words, very. And I worked out a couple of weeks ago that, and I've confirmed this with a lovely lady called Oksana, who's in my Telegram group as one of the admins, but she's also a language tutor. And I just sort of said, look, I've noticed, because I watch Russians when they speak, and I've noticed that a lot of them don't actually move their top lip too much. And she informed me that that's, you know, the words are formed inside the mouth, whereas in England we tend to speak from the front of our teeth. So we're using our lips a lot more. So some of the words are very challenging. Yeah, because in English we're not used to putting a sound like Z and D. That sound, we're not used to putting that together. So yeah, some of the words are challenging. The whole language is challenging, and grammar, wow. But if you want to learn Russian, drop me a message, click on the link at the beginning of the video, or on my page, on my home page. Yeah, on my channel page, YouTube channel page, there's a link there to Oksana, and she's a qualified language teacher, qualified English teacher, qualified Russian teacher, and a former translator. And she can help teach you if you're not thick like me. She was teaching me, but taking a bit of a sabbatical at the moment. Got a lot going on. Had a lot going on anyway. But now I've got TRP, not so much. Oh, Glory. My girlfriend Jem and I are watching you. Stalker alert. Alice Love. Democracy is fine, but demo crazy is what we have now, and it's not okay. Yeah. Like I say, I just get it more and more and more every day that goes by. more and more people either curious about Russia or just want to vent and just say how terrible things are getting in Western countries. You know, and being out here in Russia, you're just seeing it on the news, and you know, I'm shaking my head, just going, "What on earth?" Don't recognise it, you know. Like somebody asked me, you know, are you scared to return to the UK? And had you asked me that a year ago, I would have said no. Why should I fear? But I certainly look at it and think, don't know, not sure if that's a good idea now. Not because I feel that I've done anything wrong. I haven't. You know, I'm not running around the streets screaming propaganda or anything else. I'm just showing my life, you know, turning the camera on, showing the back garden, showing the beach, you know, walking around a vineyard or two. But given some of the things that people are put in prison for now in the UK, it just blows my mind. It really does. You know, I never thought I'd see that day in the UK where, you know, people's rights were just trampled on for something that they may have said or something that they repeated that somebody else had said. Really? All in the name of democracy and, you know, stopping the spread of misinformation. No, it's all in the name of control. That's what it's in the name of. And it's terrible. It really is. You know, for America to come out and say, that's really bad and you shouldn't be doing it, you know you've hit rock bottom then, don't you? So, yeah, let's not get political, Chris. You know what'll happen? Start buffering. Channels turn off all of a sudden. Need to clean these bloody glasses. Or sit further back and I can read it anyway. Don't know what I do. I've got a focal point that's about arm's length. So I had laser eye surgery. And if I sit at arm's length, I can read everything on the screen. But for some reason, I put my glasses on and do this. Told you I wasn't the brightest spanner in the box. John Gage, do you think Trump will go to the parade? No. No, he wouldn't be allowed to. Wouldn't be allowed to, so that ain't happening. Would not be allowed to. The puppet masters behind the scenes wouldn't allow that. What's for dinner? Good question. I just had bacon sandwiches with brown sauce. Oh, I've been dreaming of that moment. A couple of things I miss from the UK. One is Marmite. Brown sauce was another one. It's only food-related stuff, you know, and it's, let's face it, brown sauce and Marmite, you know, it's not really food, is it? Food stuffs, they're the things that I miss from the UK. So to get a delivery from my good friend Sam from Sam's Russian Adventures, found some brown sauce for me and sent it down to me. So I now have a good supply of brown sauce. And I liberally sprinkled it on some toast with some bacon. Oh. Next plan is some ciabatta bread, because they make lovely bread here, lovely fresh bread in our village. Well, in every village probably, but our village as well. So I shall get some ciabatta from our local bakery. Must ask them if I can film in there actually. And then I shall have, and you need to try this before you turn your nose up, bacon, brie and brown sauce. Promise you, life-changing. It's wonderful. What's for dinner? Yeah, sorry Sailor, I didn't answer your question. I went off on a rant, didn't I? I don't know, I think given the weather, probably barbecue. We'll probably be grilling some chicken later. Team Tempest. I went to Russia for Ford years ago. Ah, okay. Oh, okay, on a business trip kind of thing. I worked for Ford many years ago. Or a Ford dealership anyway. Russians are good, however that clown comedian Ponce is not good. Yeah, well he's not Russian, is he? He's yeah. He's an actor playing a part, isn't he? And now he's just he literally has got the little birdies flying around his head. I mean, can you imagine the life that guy lives, waking up every single day, knowing that one day, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, he's going to be gone, he's going to be dead. He's living on death row. And they say that the worst thing about the death penalty is the waiting to die. And the worst part of that is you've got a date usually and you're heading towards it. Well, imagine knowing you're going to die but you don't know when. That's where he is every single day, whether it's his own nasties that are surrounding him or his own people that just finally managed to rise up and break through, or his American handlers or his Western handlers, or he just happens to be in the wrong place at a certain time when a missile lands. But at some point, he's gone, isn't he? Let's face it, he served his purpose, and at some point, fly, get off. Thought it was a mozzie. I thought, no, not mozzies. Ugh. Andrew, my cats like to dump the head mice in my chair. Yeah, we haven't got that yet. I'm waiting. SVTCCVS. I wish you changed your name, mate, because it's just so hard to read. Don't, I'm joking. Something Sam from Vladimir mentioned about new procedure for Brits to enter the UK after staying in Russia. Said it was quite unpleasant. Yeah, so there's like a foreign agent registration. If effectively, if you work for the Russian government as a Brit and then you return to the UK, you need to have registered, as I understand, to say that you have an interest in the Russian government. I can't see that has any impact on a YouTuber. I don't work for anybody. I don't work for any government or have any affiliation with the Russian government. But I suppose I need to look at it. Last thing I want to do is travel back to the UK and be arrested for breaking a law that I didn't know I was breaking. So, yeah, there's a law been passed, so I need to read it and see if I need to register. But for what? I'm just a guy doing YouTube, showing some sun and some nice fruit growing in the garden. Cherries are already coming along, as are the apricots. My girlfriend Jem says hello. Hi, Jem. Kuzkin Papa. Okay. Sailor, with your skills, I bet you could shoot down a drone, no problem. 100% with a shotgun, definitely. I was quite handy. Won a gold medal, so I was pretty good with a shotgun. Went to Italy and had one made, handmade for me. So I was quite competitive, shot at quite a high level. Next really was to shoot for England, and that was going to cost a lot of money, so that wasn't happening. Paul Rizzo or Rizzo, don't know. Sorry if I butchered your name, Paul. Good day from Melbourne, Australia. Ah, an upside downer. Welcome, sir. I was talking to somebody about that yesterday. Well, I was in a chat I was outnumbered. I had to, I didn't dare mention convicts or anything like that. God, wouldn't have gone down well. But yeah, I was in a chat room with a lot of upside downers, and I always say I'm just staggered at the strength you guys have in your feet. How you manage to hang on upside down like that. Staggering. Really, I'm in awe of it. So I'm an idiot. Alexander, people who scream for their freedom of speech are usually the first to howl down anyone with an opinion. Correct. There you go. Nailed. Absolutely nailed. Montana, for example, Englishman's calling his fathers a daddy when Russian man calling his uncles dada. Okay. Yeah. Phil off his tree. Love that. At the Plastic Russian, so why are you selling the house? Is the visa running out and you have to leave, or so long for, or are you just making money on house and getting another? Neither. So my visa technically, I suppose, has expired because I now have TRP, so not leaving, like it here, a lot. Not making a load of money on the house, it's not the purpose of selling, but we are going to downsize. So when we built this house, it was with the intention of 3 people. But one of those people has decided to grow up and talk about leaving home. So it's a house going to be for 2 people. And whilst it's still a lovely house for 2 people, it's kind of a bit overkill. and we don't need as much space as we got here. So yeah, we're going to downsize. We're going to go to a single-story house. Yeah. J. Bishop, have you met anyone or heard anything about the new Russian residency visa for people from the West who come on the shared values visa? I heard about this last year, but not so much. Yeah, you're looking at one. I'm on that. It's so forget the shared values visa and the you know, all of these titles that things are put. Basically, it is a change to the previous residency permit, which was temporary residency permit. Previously, you had to get temporary residency, you had to pass the Russian language test, know a bit about Russian history and pass that test, and also a bit about Russian law. President Putin introduced a decree some months ago called the 702 decree, where that meant that Western people from unfriendly countries that had, you know, the same beliefs as Russians and the Russian people could come here without having to pass the language test, because that's the biggest barrier for Westerners. The Cyrillic alphabet for us is extremely challenging. Have a look at my alphabet video on my channel and you'll see. So that's what it is. So yes, I'm on that. Basically, I've got temporary residency without having to pass the language test, and that's under the 702 decree. Again, if that's something you're interested in, if you're in the UK, I've done 3 videos that explain the process, explains the documents that you'll need to compile, and what you'd need to do if you were looking to come to my region, which is the Krasnodarsky Krai region. But yeah, there's lots of people asking about it, and I think lots of people sort of going through the process at the moment. Andrew Baggett, oh, stop it, man. That horrible 4-letter word. Ugh. Jordan, yeah, cheers. Schnee Adler, greetings from Germany. Whereabouts in Germany? Just curious, because Dad used to live in Germany. Used to live in the Ruhr Valley, in a town, or just outside a town called Vickerda. So I went there a few times. Actually drove to Germany when I was about 18. It was an interesting journey. Alexander Ross, I bet if you served Marmite to your Russian guests, half would say they loved it, and the other half would ask where the problem is. Yeah, it's love it or hate it, isn't it? There's a lot of stuff that Russians just won't put in their mouths, I think. A lot of vinegar-based stuff. And I found out to my cost why. We like a bit of vinegar in the UK, don't we, on our chips and stuff. And we have a lot of vinegar-based products. Worcestershire sauce, ketchup, brown sauce, you know, all that kind of stuff. Russians don't. And when I came here, I bought some vinegar to clean the sink. I wanted to descale a bit of the sink. So I just bought vinegar, I thought, but I bought it in a hardware store, which I found a bit strange because vinegar's a food stuff. But anyhow, it was in a hardware store. And they were all different percentages, which didn't make any sense to me. You either have pickle vinegar or malt vinegar, don't you? Maybe a bit of apple cider vinegar or wine vinegar, but that's about it. But no, it's different strengths. But it was vinegar. Okay, smelled like vinegar, albeit very strong. Anyhow, I cleaned the sink with it and took all the skin off my fingers. So literally, it was like 3rd-degree burns. My skin just melted off. So it's quite strong vinegar. So yeah, I understand why when you say you put vinegar on your chips, Russians will look at you and go, what? Yeah. But Marmite, yeah, is probably one of them things that you either love it or you hate it, as the saying goes. I love it. Asunder. Oh, Asunder, love it. Russia is literally a petrol company surrounded by state. Is it now? Is it really? Oh dear. Yeah, only about 30% of the revenue generated for the country comes from the energy sector. So, unfortunately, that's US propaganda. Dolus Malacca, who is this old guy? No idea. Don't know where you are, mate. Battleborn Grub. JP, do you drink beer? Never. Dr. Hammer has retracted his message. Memphisto. What was that about hanging upside down, Mr. Stark? Upside down. Australians. So as a guy in the UK, Australia is the opposite side of the earth. So we say that they're hanging on upside down because they're upside down to us. Yeah. And I'm an idiot, so I like saying it. Kerwin Jones. Are you the guy who started the war at Russia? Yeah. Yeah. JP, looks like a great day to crack a cold one. And I haven't got any. The wife's out, and I'm talking to you guys. So I need to go to the shops and maybe buy a soft drink of some description. Beer. Who cares anyway? Bella, how old are you? Rude. Bella, how old are you? Very rude. You're as old as the woman you feel. My wife's younger than me, so that's all good. The logical two. Ukraine or Russia? Who you support? Is that a question? Really? Okay. Well, given that I'm living in southern Russia, it shouldn't be too difficult to work out. Fill off his tree. That's interesting about the house. I haven't downsized. Instead, I just filled up the empty places when the kids left with stuff I wanted to collect. Yeah, I kind of did that in the UK and then got to a point where it was nice to declutter and sell everything. That's what I did. Sold everything. Came to Russia with 2 suitcases. One of the best things I've ever done. It's wonderful. It's very liberating. And when I come to live in Russia, I will probably build myself an even bigger house. Joys of moving to Russia. Minimum size of territory you buy now for a house is 600 square metres. So, give you an idea, that's about the size of this back garden. Yeah, about the size of this back garden. No, it's more than that. No, back garden's probably 500 square metres. I don't know, 20. 400 square metres. So, bigger than our back garden. It's nice, means everybody gets a garden. Email address. Would rather move to Southeast Asia. Crack on, pal. Good luck. Whatever makes you happy. Andrew. Don't do it, Andrew. But they eat raw fish eggs. Who? Russians? Well, so do most people. Caviar. A lot of people around the world love it. It's a delicacy. Here, it's in every supermarket. Buy caviar anywhere. Something that a lot of people are envious about. I haven't tried it yet. I've been told it's an acquired taste, much like olives. Not in the fact that it tastes the same, but just that it's an acquired taste. Once you've had olives half a dozen times, you kind of like them. But usually the first time they're a bit bleh. And I'm sure fish eggs are the same. Any fish and chips in Russia? Yep. Yep. Most restaurants serve it. How many ding-dongs you slobbered over me? I don't know. If you want to communicate in the Queen's English without shouting, I'll answer you. If you're going to talk in a language that I have no concept of, crack on. Sun Moon, the weather looks stunning in Russia today. Yep. She's lovely. Should go for a wander. So I'll catch up with you lot first. Andrew, the US literally went to war in the Middle East over oil. The US goes to war everywhere over some kind of resource, doesn't it? That's it. There's always something. EU, NATO, UK, USA started the proxy war against Russia and Ukraine in 2014 by overthrowing the legitimate Ukrainian government and placing their puppies. Yeah, it started before 2014, but yeah, at least you're not one of these idiots that thinks it started in 2022. What do you miss back in the UK? Tim Gibson. Good question. What do I miss back in the UK? Family and friends. But technology is great nowadays. You can do this. So that makes it an awful lot easier. I miss the variety of curry that we have in the UK. I'm sure you know what I mean. And yeah, just things like I was saying earlier, like Marmite. But people have offered to bring it and send it to me anyway, so, you know, I'm sure I will be able to scratch that itch fairly soon. Simone, are you a Russian citizen now? No, I am. I have a temporary residence permit. Oh, no, none. Putin apologist again, let's go. Oh. You know, I get it, you know, if all your life you've believed a certain thing and, you know, you watch your media and you believe what they're telling you and you don't make any effort to actually do some independent research to find out the truth, I get it. You know, you're going to be scared when you're living in a bubble and somebody like me pops that bubble. It's difficult. You know, your whole world kind of could potentially come crashing down, and that's scary. So I get it. You know, you guys, I understand why you'd say that. It's a shame. You know, we're 3 years into this and there's still the odd one or two like you that say stuff like that. So, yeah. But, you know, I don't live my life in fear, and perhaps you shouldn't. Kerwin, why did you launch war? Well, I'm not sure that I did, Kerwin Jones, to be honest. Are you a communist? Right. Just given your stupid name means that you get booted because your stupid name. Won't engage in idiots. You know, depends on the mood. Sometimes, you know, I'll destroy them with facts. Sometimes I laugh. Sometimes I humour them. Sometimes I just go delete. Sometimes I say what I think. But yeah, with a name like that, there's no point even wasting my breath. Sun Moon Kerwin, it was UK, EU, NATO governments who launched proxy wars against Russia. There you go. Tim, what don't you miss back in the UK? What don't I miss? Well, I was there in May of last year, and I don't miss the filthy streets, rubbish everywhere. I don't miss the homeless people everywhere. Hey, Rios. Come here, little monster. Look, it's one of my little monsters. The murderer. Wouldn't you? Wouldn't you? Yes. At least you ate your mouse, I suppose. Yeah, I don't miss the rubbish on the streets. I don't miss the homeless people everywhere. That's really a big difference. I don't miss the crime. Yeah, being able to leave your car unlocked, or you know, just feel safe walking around the streets, or knowing that your wife's going to be safe if she's walking after dark. You know, yeah. Dane Mole, let's get rid of you because you're an idiot. Bye, Dane. Dos vidania. Is it still too cold to go for a swim in the sea? Well, that's, for me, yeah. I've got acclimatised. I like to be warm now. But in general, it depends on whether you like swimming in the cold sea. In the UK, there's a club where people go swimming on Christmas Day, and people go swimming. There'll be people swimming in the sea in the UK, I'm sure. But the UK, the channel gets about 18 degrees, I think. That's the temperature of my swimming pool at the moment. But for me, yeah, it needs to be warmer. And the sea will get to 32, 33 degrees in the summer here. So it's amazing. It's lovely. Kerwin, this guy started a war. Look at him, seems tired of fighting now. Yeah. Yeah, I'm tired of fighting, mate. Definitely tired of fighting. Yeah. Whatever. The logical two. Russia belongs to Ukraine. Does it? Does it now? Get out our land and slams go back to the UK, you coloniser. Oh dear. Are you in your mum's basement? Are you bashing away at the keyboard? Have a look at your fingers. If they're red, you need to stop. Yeah, the logic. Ukraine never existed in World War II. It was formed by Russia. Sun Moon, USA, another fake nation never existed before, like Australia and Israel. Zeddy, nice to see you. How you doing? Hi Chris, nice to see you on, mate. Hope you're going to enjoy the lovely Russian summer. Oh yes, I sure will. Brandon Bolton, greetings brother, how goes? Yeah, pretty good mate, pretty good life, pretty good. Yeah, no complaints, nice and relaxed. That was the conversation I was having today actually. I used to be in the UK looking for something to be doing. There had to be something to be doing, you know, I was always trying to find something to be doing. But since coming to Russia, no, I'm quite happy to sit here, talk to you guys. I'm quite happy to sit and watch a bit of TV. I'm quite happy to lay by the pool. Quite happy to go to the beach. Quite happy to go to the vineyards, do a bit of filming here, like go to some of the cities and the towns, just mooch about. Yeah, pretty relaxed, mate. Loving it. Nondescript identifier. Is there less feminism, misandry over there compared to the West? I don't know. I'm a bloke, so don't really. Feminism, what is it? Women's rights and, you know, this. Should it matter whether it's a woman or a man? You know, because they're the only two genders that exist. We all know that, don't we? And, yeah, whatever. Magasaurus Rex, Russia and Ukraine situation is just so sad. Ukraine has literally lost all men aged 18 through to 39. Much higher than 39. Yeah. Pensioners have been, yeah, it's much higher than 39, I'm afraid. Are you in Novorossiysk? JB, no, I'm the next town along if you head towards Crimea from Novorossiysk. So, yeah, about, I don't know, as the crow flies, maybe 30 or 40 kilometres to Novorossiysk. It's about 45 minutes for us, drive, something like that. What are your plans for the future? It will get boring after a while sitting by the pool and doing nothing. You might be right, Sailor, but I ain't bored with it yet. Plans for the future? Going to move to a different house, and then we're going to have untold projects at the new house, because highly unlikely, well, we won't have a swimming pool, so we've got to build a swimming pool, going to build pool room, sauna, so lots of building projects at the new house. More exploring, more going out, because I do like to get out and about. Enjoyed going down to Sochi. So, yeah, more exploring. Going to Crimea, having a look around there. And, yeah, getting up to Moscow on the train at some point. I'm looking forward to when they reopen the airports, which will be, it won't be anytime soon, but at some point, because the Napa airport was actually going to be an international airport. So when that reopens and they finish all the upgrades, you'll actually be, you know, all of that. I can drive to St. Petersburg. My mate Ven Kaur does that. He drives from Sochi to St. Petersburg, and that is a journey. That is an epic journey. He's done it a few times on video, so have a look at his channel. Ven space Kaur, K-O-R. So yeah, he does that journey. It's pretty epic, but I don't know if I'd want to drive there. Maybe I'd like to do the Trans-Siberian Railway. Is that what it's called? You know, that railway journey. There's lots of things I want to do. And the good thing about bad connection, really. Bear with callers. Yeah, lots of things you can do in this country. Climate, 11 different time zones and every climate you want, so lots of things to do. Tenzik K, you can't avoid boredom unless you reach nirvana. Here I am. Need to come to the negotiating table. Well, I'm at the table. What do you want to negotiate, mate? Did you retire in Russia? I retired in England and then moved to Russia. Is that what you mean? JB, a Napa. Yep, I was looking at moving there. Yeah, it's lovely. Maxim, 69 go. Phil off his tree. Man, I can't wait to live in Russia. Can't afford to for a few years. Such good values they have. You're so lucky, man. Glad you got it working well there. UK's lost. Now it's such a shame. It is a shame. That's, I think, you know, going back in May of last year, that's the biggest thing that I'll take away from that. It was just sad. It was sad going to my hometown and just seeing the state of the place. You know, it shouldn't be like that. It's a seaside resort town. It relies on tourism. And Brits won't, you know, they won't write to the council and say, oh, I've come to Eastbourne every year for a holiday and I'll never come again because of the state of the place. They just don't, you know, they vote with their feet. They just don't turn up. And it's the death of the town. You know, if the town hasn't got tourism, yeah, it's not good. Sun Moon, what's the wildlife like in your area? You live in now, do you see bears? No, I haven't seen any bears. No. I can tell you that every bug out here is different. Every creepy crawly. There's a video on my channel actually from Goryachi Clutch. Have a look at that. I think I did a short from there of, I don't know what it was, some beetle with big dangly tentacles. I've never seen anything like it. So yeah, every bug out here is different. We've got praying mantis in the garden, and that's uber cool because I love those things. I've only ever seen them on the National Geographic channel until I came here, and now we've got them in the garden. I didn't even know they could fly. So that was kind of, you know, kind of a cool discovery. So yeah, got praying mantis in the garden. Andrew, got to actually go do some work. It was a pleasure spending time with you in your lovely home. See you soon. Yeah, take care, pal. Sorry you got to go to work. Jose Cruz Torres. Everyone is pro-Russia now. Different times. I'm not pro-Russia. I'm pro-truth. Definitely pro-truth. But I'm not, you know, I'm not... Yeah, I just... You know, I believe in everybody should be able to live the life that they want to live without fear, without oppression, which I do. And, yeah, you know, I think in any country, the less interaction with the government you have, the better. Doesn't matter what country it is. But, yeah, I think you should be pro your country, I think, if your country is pro you. If your country's values are correct and they're doing things to look after you as a citizen, then yeah, then that country deserves your support. But if your country is what feels like anti-you, is doing everything to destroy your way of life, does it deserve your support? Don't know. It's a bit like respect, isn't it? They say you've got to earn it. I think when people stop earning it, yeah. Different times indeed. Phil, oh, don't think I saw the video on bugs. I will watch that. Spiders are the ones I hate, so long as there is nothing too big. Right, so yeah, I'm not a fan of spiders. They've got loads of eyes and 8 legs. It's just wrong, isn't it? But the biggest one I've seen here is about this big. So probably 5 centimetres across, including legs. So similar to a wolf spider that you get in the UK, like a big garage spider you get in the UK, but probably with a bit of a bigger body, but about the same size. But they're garden, you never see them in the house. Well, I certainly haven't. We've got 5 cats, so nothing would live in our house. But I've seen a couple in the grass. Wandering about, but I've not seen anything in the house. And other than that, the spiders I see are like, you know, fingernail size. Nothing. I've seen a couple in the sauna, but they're like that. It wouldn't bother you at all. Jose, pro-truth also. Yeah, stay up, brother. Have a good day. Thank you. Appreciate that. Truth in that. Do you think they're going to hit parade? Well, here's a question. Whenever any Western leader visits Ukraine, Russia guarantees their safety. Did you know that? Russia does. Guarantees their safety. To the point that there will be no attacks where they are. There's a schedule that's provided for where they go, and there are no attacks on that region. So they guarantee they're not going to get bombed or taken out. So is it right for Zelensky to threaten the parade where there are going to be world leaders? Is that correct? Is that okay? So Russia doesn't do that, but it's okay for Zelensky to do that? A lot of people are jumping up and down saying, oh yes, absolutely. Are you mental? Can you imagine if they did something at the parade and took out the president of China, for example? What do you think would happen? Or, you know, any of the other presidents? What do you think would happen? And this is the thing that these Western morons just don't get. They all think, you know, Putin bad, Putin dictator, Putin this, Putin that. None of them have worked out that they are so lucky that Vladimir Putin runs Russia, because he's a moderate. He's the one that has been watching Russians die since 2014 and has tried to negotiate. He's the one that's tried to get a peace and to work with Europe. He's the one that tried to get Russia into Europe. If you had as president somebody like Dmitry Medvedev, who is hardline, most of the West wouldn't be there now. So it's a shame that the West hasn't got enough brains to work that out. So all of this, what's good enough for America and good enough for the West and isn't good enough for Russia and double standards crap, and people say that that's okay. I don't get it. I don't understand why people think that that's acceptable. You know, yeah. So, I mean, will they do anything? Will they do anything? I don't know. Are they that stupid? Yes, absolutely they are. Europe is being destroyed by the third world plantation, placed here by design and their Calgary Plan agenda. Full effect from Europe. Okay. Montana. After UK's misty and humidity weather, sunny, hot and dry climate of Krasnodar is pretty nice. Yeah, sunny, hot and dry. Fill off his tree. That's not padding. Bobby Privyet. They have snakes in Russia too. Yep. Yep. Have them in England though, don't we? Tanner Collin. Not out of goodwill, so an international event doesn't happen. Okay. Magasaurus. I'm American. I'm so glad we are going to stay out of it now. No, you're not. You're not staying out of it, mate. Don't believe. If Trump, listen, Trump came saying, I'm going to end the war. I want the US out of it. You know, we're mediating. It's all pathetic. The US is the reason that there is this war going on. US provides the intelligence and surveillance. US provides the weapons. US provides the targeting data. US provides the money. If Trump really wanted peace, he would say, we're done. And that's what he should have done 3 months ago when he came to presidency. He should have said, not my war. We shouldn't be doing this, and I'm pulling the plug. If you want to carry on, you're on your own. We're nothing to do with it. And that's what he should have done. But no, he thought he'd try and negotiate because he listens to Kellogg and Waltz and Rubio and thinks that Russia is backwards and, you know, on the verge of collapse and everything else, and thinks he's the master deal maker. He's just a bully boy. He's just a bully boy businessman that's got an old school way of acting, and he thinks that's going to work, and it ain't. So I'm sorry, you know, saying that America's going to be out of it. You ain't. Yeah, just getting deeper into it. Going to carry on supplying weapons. Going to carry on with the money laundering. Going to carry on supplying targeting data, and Russia will carry on moving forward. So ultimately, all they're doing is just sealing the fate, and you know, Russia will just keep doing what it's doing. What you're talking about isn't worth talking about because it won't happen. Okay, give your head a wobble, you're compromised. Okay, whatever. J. Lacrosse, Omni-Man, hey. It's not a war for Russia, it's a special military operation. If it was war, Ukraine wouldn't exist. Russia carefully follows. Correct. Yeah, there's 3 levels on a legal standpoint. You have level 1 where we're at now. Next level will be anti-terrorist operation, and the final level would be a declaration of war. So you're correct, it's not a war. NATO governments think they can defeat Russia, they never will. No, they never have and they never will. I'm living here. I see Russian people. I see their heart, their soul, the strength with these people. And yeah, there's nothing in the West that's coming in this country. And unfortunately, that's a truth that they haven't wrapped their head around yet. Trump just signed a new arms deal with Ukraine. There you go. Flux, yeah, Trump has been a disappointment. He has. You know, I won't say high hopes, but I had hopes. And certainly he was a better choice than old word salad herself. Definitely a better choice than her. But unfortunately, he's gone the wrong path. Yeah, bend over, yeah, okay. Just, yeah, I mean, some of the things Trump's done, I agree with, you know, like him announcing that America only recognises 2 genders. I mean, just for that, I'm pleased that he got into power just for that alone. But unfortunately, the neocons have got their hooks into him, and they're going down the wrong path. Anyhow, I've caught up with the chat, and it's time for me to go. So thanks for joining me on a beautiful sunny day here in Russia, in southern Russia, just in time before my battery dies. Please like, share and subscribe. Please check out my channel. Lots of videos on there, all sort of random stuff. Join my Telegram group. If you've got any questions, I'll try and answer them for you. But in the meantime, thanks for joining me. Quickly, Russia is fighting 50 plus nations. Yeah, Montana, what a normal and adequate man sits back and yes, the slogan Putin's. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Take care, man. Thank you. Thanks for the stream, mate. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you, Flux. Thanks, Chris. Have a great day. Cheers, Alexander. See you in the next one.